Okay. After listening to the past 2 wake-up calls, I decided that I think this would have been a better topic than what I had originally planned. I was originally going to talk about, success partners, but we will do that. I wanted to hold off because I think that this is a little bit more important because this kind of came up in both of the last national wake-up calls, and they talked about their success and how they got there. And I think that sometimes we overcomplicate this business and we look at the shiny things and we start doing all of the things that don't actually bring in business and that don't actually grow your business. And when I started to listen to those calls and then really look back at the things that do grow your business, it all falls back into the vital behaviors. And those are set in place for us. You need to be quiet if you're going to have that open. They're set for us by corporate. And if you don't know what they are, they're the proof that products work, that you need to invite daily. You need to be doing personal development and then recognition as well. And those are vital behaviors. And literally, when you think about the word vital, they are vital to your business growing. When I first started as a coach, I took that to heart, and every single day I would make sure that I did every single one of those things. Recognition wasn't a thing when I first started coaching. It was just the 3 vital behaviors, and then they added on the 4th one. But I remember listening to a call super, super early in my business that Danielle did for our team. And it was stop overcomplicating. You wake up, you drink a shake, you work out, you read a book, and you ask other people to join you. And somewhere along the way, we've gotten just super, super shiny with everything. We're so worried about how did you get the font on that? How do you do Google Forms? How do you do all of these things? And although those are really great systems to put into place, we aren't doing the vital behaviors when we're focusing on those other things. Mm-hmm. So what I need everyone to start doing is focusing back into the vital behaviors, because honestly, you guys, that's what grows your business. When people ask me how I hit Success Club every single month, it's because I do the vital behaviors still every single month. Stop. And then you send the children to daycare.
I'm going to send you to daycare.
Gladly.
Scoot over.
No, I'm not scooting over.
Stop.
I lost my train of thought because my mom brain is just so bad right now too. It's like a fog. But I think that, because I know that in our thread sometimes too, I get so many questions on how do you do this? And you guys have to remember that I've been doing this for 4 years. So my stage of coaching is very much different. Where I can set up those emails because I've got down how to do the vital behaviors. I think first and foremost, every single coach that comes onto our team. Thank you. Go away.
Aries tells me that too.
Go away.
It probably does because I have phlegm in my throat. Tinley Joe, you're going to lose something. Because you're in my space.
You're in my space.
I'm glad you all love me, even with my children, because some days I don't know if I like her very much. And again, what did I just say? Oh, I got to where I am because, you guys, I literally relied on the vital behaviors like they were the bread and butter of everything. And I think when we aren't inviting, that's a vital behavior. So if you're I want to hit Success Club, and then you say, well, I haven't really been inviting, then this and this aren't matching up. You can't expect to hit Success Club if you aren't doing the invitations. You can't expect to have a positive mindset when everybody's telling you no if you aren't doing personal development. You sure as heck can't expect other people to trust you in using the products if you aren't doing them yourself. If you're not following a program, how do you expect your challengers to follow a program? It all makes sense. And the recognition piece is something that I personally need to do better at. And we do it every Thursday, but I need to do better throughout the week recognizing people. So I think that that's an area that we can all grow too. But literally, you guys, I did take off the days I was in the hospital. The day I got home, so that was Saturday night, I was responding to messages and still sending out invites. Like I literally gave birth on Friday and I came home on Saturday and I was sending out invites because this business means something to me and it like matters, and doing those things every single day is the consistency of this business. And I think that if you guys really start to get a hold of the consistency factor, you're going to see a big difference instead of like doing a few on Monday, not inviting again until Friday. And I know that all of us have different schedules and different stages. So maybe you have to set up your business where you only are inviting on certain days, but then you need to be consistent on your certain days. Does that make sense? So maybe you're not an every single day person. Maybe you're a part-timer, right? And you have it set up, but then on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you're hammering out those invites for 10 minutes and you're getting as many done as you can. But that's what you're doing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you're not skipping a day. Because it's when you start to give yourself that leeway and start to skip the days is when all of a sudden you've gone 3 weeks and it's the last week of the month and you want to hit Success Club and you're like having to send out 50 invites a day, which is super stressful, right? And nobody wants to go about the business like that. But I think that we just need to lean back in, and literally Ashley said this, and she's the top coach in the network, you guys. If you've seen her numbers, they're crazy. I do the vital behaviors every single day. People don't, and this is what she said on the National Wake Up Call, people don't see how hard I work. And it's literally, it's not the shiny stuff. It's not going to the parties. It's not any of that stuff. It's literally sitting behind your computer or sitting behind your phone and having conversations with people is what brings you the success. It's not about what your font is like or what anything is like. Like none of that truly, truly matters. What matters is your content. What matters is that you're doing the vital behaviors and that you're doing you're using the products and being proof that it works. So I think that we just all need to take a step back and stop looking for all of the, and I wouldn't say necessarily quick fixes because I don't feel like any of you are looking for quick fixes, but I feel like everyone's searching for the answer. Do you know what I mean? Like the what am I trying to say? Like we're all out there searching for like this magical unicorn that's going to make our business just explode. But really the magical unicorn is just sitting down and doing the freaking hard work every single day, even though some days it's super unflattering, like, and super not fun. But honestly, like that's, I thought he was coming in here to eat. Hold on. The consistency factor. I don't know how much you guys follow Danielle, our grandma coach, or your great grandma coach. She says that her superpower is consistency, that there's nothing special about her except for that she's consistent as is what she always says all the time. And it's true. She wakes up, like if you follow her on social media, she wakes up, she drinks her Energize, she does her workout, and that's how she does her day every single stinking day. And people know that about her. So when you start to think about your own social media, like, are you showing up like that on social media? Are you sharing about everything that you possibly can? And are you, when you go through your actual feed, because you have to remember that not everyone that follows you, like on Instagram, I have almost 4,000 followers on Instagram, but I only have like 400 to 500 people following my stories. So when you think of those numbers, you still have to be posting to your feed as well as sharing on your stories. I get better engagement off my stories because they're people that are actually paying attention and interacting. But you have to remember that both are important. And on Facebook, like that's the only place that people see you. And I personally don't use Facebook stories. But you have to be posting on your feed and you have to be having content. You have to be finding ways for people to connect with you. I just shared what was in my notes. I always make notes and then I never actually like go off of them. The product, like not just sharing like, oh, I drink my Energize, right? Because yes, we drink our Energize, and yes, we want to show that we're consistent with that, but like, why? Why do you drink your Energize? And like, why do you drink Shakeology? Why do you choose Beach Bars? Is it just literally because it's a Beachbody product? Like for me, it's not, because there aren't bars that are better than the Beachbody bars. Now it's just the protein content and sugar and all of that stuff. So, holy buckets. you start to think about like why you use the products and sharing about that aspect, because the products truly, you guys, are just an avenue in your healthy lifestyle. They're just part of it, right? Just like eating healthy. Yes, we're following nutrition plans provided to us by Beachbody, but like I eat apples every single day and I'm not trying to sell apples, right? But I share about those things because they're part of like what I do. I share about the fitness pants that I wear because it ties into what I do. I share like anything. Now my stage of life is like not sleeping, cleaning up poop, and you hear about that stuff. So, but you like when you really think of the people that like the top coaches right now, take some time tonight and just go scroll through their feeds, because they have something that attracts people to them. And it's the way that they present themselves on social media, right? And it's that they're not overcomplicating anything. They're putting up social media posts and they're doing the vital behaviors. Like there's nothing magical about it. They might really rock at Google Forms, or they might have really great graphics, but you know what? They probably also have help. Like, let's be honest. They probably have a virtual assistant or an assistant in general, and we do not. Like, don't waste your time doing those things until you have the time to waste to do those things. Does that make sense? Like, until you are comfortable in your business with people coming in consistently and income coming in consistently, you need to do the things that bring in the income. And creating really pretty pictures on PicMonkey doesn't bring in any income, right? Having conversations, doing your workout, drinking your shake, and sharing about that brings in income. And we're back.
I'm a mail person. Here's your mail, Ashley.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? Or any thoughts or comments?
It just seems so easy.
It really is. And that's why I titled it Going Back to the Basics, because it's literally, don't overcomplicate it, and I think that sometimes we search so much to say the perfect thing or say the right thing, or you know what I mean? And really, the best way to get better at conversations is to have more conversations. Like I said at Super Saturday, I sucked in the beginning. Like I was terrible. I look back at some of my old invites and I literally like cringed that I ever sent those to people. But it was a starting place, right? And I had to learn how to talk to people. And you guys have asked me many times, like, well, how do you come up with that? And it's just, honestly, I try and word my invites and my conversations like how I would talk in life, like real life. One of the girls that just signed up to be a coach, I was talking to her late at night and I literally like zonked out. And the next morning I said, so sorry, baby fell asleep, and I took it as an opportunity to fall asleep too. And she was like, I understand. Do you know what I mean? Like you be real in your conversations, because they want to see that you are a real person. And literally she signed up as a coach later that day. But I find that if you really have that real touch and it's not just like trying to sell something, do you know what I mean? Like if you're like, that's why it worked for me too. And I work with a lot of moms, and I know that now after having Bennett, it'll be a lot of like postpartum moms, people trying to get their baby bodies back and all that kind of stuff. And just being real about the journey, which is why I've tried to show up and share a lot of the unsexy things about postpartum. But it's not hard. It's really not. If you just do the easy things every single day, the consistency will pay off, if that makes sense. And if you're somebody, just leave it be. If you're somebody like me, like literally in the beginning, in my planner, I would write shake, workout, invite, personal development, and I would cross them off every single day. And maybe that's what you guys need to do to just get into that consistency factor. And then at the end of the week, evaluate yourself, like look back and see what days didn't I make it happen, and why didn't I make it happen, and how can I do better for next week? Tinley, please just leave it be. And sorry, right at my cough medicine wearing off too. And if you're like me, I like have major satisfaction of crossing things off of a list. So that I really thoroughly enjoyed. So I guess, does that make sense, and why it's important every single, like why the vitals are the vital behaviors? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I already know the answer to this, but which one do you think is the most challenging for you?
Inviting.
All right, same for you, Ari?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do you think it's inviting, or do you think it's hard because it's scary, or like what makes it hard?
I think I overthink what I'm trying to say, and so it takes me so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to do that 3 times. I have to do that 5 times. Like,
So,
and then I have to like keep that conversation going.
right.
Like, don't say the wrong thing, and I overthink that.
So I don't create brand new conversations in every single invite. Does that make sense? Like my initial invite is like a pretty blanket invite, so that, and I can add some personalization at the top, but the actual core to the invite is a like blanket invite. Does that make sense? So that I'm not typing out 10 invites every single day. I have like a script that I use, and then I tweak it to whatever I'm inviting to, like whether it be Transform 20 or whatever is going on. And then I always just be sure to add like personalization around it. Does that make sense? Like at the beginning and at the end. But that helps me time factor wise. So that you're not, and then like once you get the hang of it, and once you kind of like find one that sounds like you, read it out loud to yourself. That was something that was suggested to me really early on in my coaching career, is if you read it out loud, if it doesn't sound like you, don't send it, right? Like I don't personally talk like really, really proper. So I don't type really proper, but I also don't talk like a gangster. So I don't say like those types of things either. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you really have to like find your own verbiage. But I use a program. I use notes on my phone because I work a lot off my phone now, especially like wrangling both of them. But Evernote is a really great program for you to save things into. And then you can kind of come back and you can tweak and that kind of stuff too. So I don't know if you're doing that already, if you're kind of using a script. I hate the word scripts because I hate the idea of like just blanket copy pasting. Does that make sense? But I have like one that I copy and I paste, but then I add around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, that was our school, and so I was snow day. What? Like
you have a snow day tomorrow?
No, nothing happened.
Oh, dang! I was like, that's exciting.
T already called it for tomorrow, so I'm hoping. Yeah.
We don't have cable. We should probably sign up for like the Brandon district thing.
Oh, I just saw that on Facebook. We don't have but so back to what you were saying with invites.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? Gosh dang it, I got really excited about that.
That's okay. I would too.
When you go to send invites, okay, is this, so I have a list, I have like my February list.
Yes.
This is what I want to, these are the people I want to talk to in February. Say I just pick 3 off this list or whatever for today. Mm-hmm. Is this something I'm just going, hey, saw your picture on this, that looks really awesome, blah, 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 blah. I thought you might be interested in this, like all in one thing right away off the bat? Is that how you're doing them?
At this point in my business, not really. At this point,
I feel like it take a while to like build.
It does. It takes a while. Like I told my husband earlier today, I had this call at 8:00 and that he was going to be in charge, and we can all see. Okay, bring me my mail. Thank you, and then go away. Right now, mainly reach out to people that have like an Instagram, anybody that's following my stories. I initially reach out and I say, hey, I just wanted to say thanks for following along with my stories. I really love getting connected with other people on here. I hope that I can bring some positivity to your life or something along those lines. Yeah. And then I use Teamsy, and I just set up to the next week to make another connection with them, whether that be like photos, commenting on a photo. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to invite them to a group, because I've kind of taken that framework to that aspect. On Facebook, mainly my invites are coming off of responses to posts. Yeah. Like if I do one, like the heart one with respond to whatever color heart of weight you want to lose or whatever, then I would respond back and say, thanks so much for responding to this. I'm not sure if you'd be interested. I'm currently running this boot camp. I know this time of year, lots of people have health and fitness goals, and I just thought it would be more fun to do together. Let me know if you'd be interested, and I can get you more info or something along those lines, or like, would you be interested in joining, that kind of stuff. Where you're at, honestly, lean into your warm market first, because those are the people that I started with. Lean into the people that you have a relationship built with. So they're not like total strangers on Facebook that you're like, hey, girl, messaging. And just say, hey, I'm doing this. I don't know. And January is such an easy one to do everyone has health and fitness goals for the new year. I just didn't know if you'd be interested, like some type of that kind of verbiage. Because it's true, everyone and their dog wants to get healthy in January. So,
healthy?
What?
Oh,
oh,
hi.
Hi.
I forgot it was on, and my dog sitting here said, Max, you want to get healthy?
That was coach, right?
Okay. What?
He could coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. No.
Does that help?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. What else? Ash, do you have any questions? Thoughts?
I think my biggest thing is, like, I was going to actually talk to you about this if you were at dance on Wednesday, because I was like losing my mind Wednesday night. I have a hard time with when you make new friends, like you say, you keep adding people and keep adding people, you know, and I've had people accept my friend requests. I just don't know what to say next.
I personally say
like,
no.
oh, thanks for,
I don't reach
thanks?
out to anybody new that I add. I just let them start following me. Is what
you do?
Yeah. I know that other coaches will send like, hey, thanks for accepting my friend request, da, 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 da. That never felt good to me, so I never did it. That felt,
and see, that doesn't feel good to me either.
Yeah, and honestly, if it doesn't feel good, I wouldn't do it. Like, that's just my personality. And some coaches might tell you different. If you want to grow, that's what you have to do.
I'm the best.
I always took this business as, I'm going to do it the way that feels good to me, and I don't want to feel like a pushy coach, and I don't want to feel like all I'm trying to do is sell things. I truly want to feel like I'm connecting with them and trying to help them. So that aspect never felt good to me, so I just didn't do it. I would add them, and then if they eventually reach out. But what you could do is keep track of the people that are accepting your friend requests and go and like one of their photos or comment on their photos. You know what I mean? And instead of like sending them a private message, you could very publicly still be connecting with them, and because that's going to bring up your posts in their feed more too.
Guess what?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I just don't have a very big warm market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I know people, you know, but it's just like with family or close friends too, it's hard because they're just like, what are you going to sell me now? You know?
Don't think of your warm market just as,
Mommy,
I want you to go, you can watch YouTube if you go out there.
You can watch YouTube in the closet.
That sounds great. Don't think of your warm market just as people that you're super close with. Like, warm market can be people that you are like literally acquaintances with. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to be super, super close. Like, because when I started this business, like, I was the very first one of my friends to have a baby. So I was like outcasted by my friends, essentially. Sorry.
$10.
Here you go.
I'll
Go.
show you there.
So like all of my friends were still in like party mode, so they had zero interest of like getting healthy or anything like that. And I was home with a baby
Right.
all the time. So it wasn't like I had all these girlfriends, which I know a lot of people do have a ton of girlfriends to get connected with right away. And none of
I
my
don't.
friends joined right away. So, although it seems hard, it's not undoable because I literally started with none of that. I still think it takes your family the longest to come around. So over there, does that help?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I have 4 people that are technically family that has told me, yeah, I want to do it. I want to sign up. Like my mom said, she wants to get Body on Demand.
Right.
Well, that doesn't give me points. And I know I'm not trying to sell, but I really want to hit Success Club in January. And I've been being as consistent as I can. I've been posting my food and my workouts every day and reading my personal development and doing invites when I can, you know, but I'm trying to reel these guys in first.
Right. I would.
And like my cousin too, she's like, well, I want to buy a new house and get a new car
Right.
and pay off these loans and stuff. And I'm like, just sign up as a coach.
I would say that it's not a priority to her right now. And you probably just need to like bless and release it for right now. And one thing that I've learned long term is don't count your chickens before they hatch. Like don't depend on those
You know,
Success Club, because then it comes the end of the month and they have an excuse or something comes up or like life happens and
right.
you just can't ever, like literally until they have signed up and sent me their order number, I do not count them anymore because you can't, even when they're like, okay, I'm going to sign up tonight. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you don't hear from them. It happens all the time. Like I literally in all of my coaching probably have like 50 or 60 links out of people that didn't actually sign up ever.
Oh my gosh.
So it's so frustrating. Like it happens. And so if you guys feel that way, like don't think that it doesn't happen to me. It happens to me all the time. And I've just learned that you can't count on anyone until they literally are in it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I've always had the mentality with I wake up and I do my invites regardless of where I'm at for Success Club. And if I get closer to the end of the month, I up my invites every single day. Just because you can't count on anyone. Does that make sense? Like, and I feel like that sounds really mean, but like if you want
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, if you want to hit Success Club, you need to take control of that and you need to not rely on others to hit it for you either.
Right. Yeah.
I had one like that the other night, Ashley. Like she trying to cut back her cost.
Yeah.
And she wants to lose weight and she's like, well, how much is this? And I was like, well, okay, you know, like this is all the stuff you're getting, and she's all for it. She wants to do it, but she's like, I don't know if I can right now. You know, would it cut back the cost if I just did the workouts? I was like, well, here's the deal. For $60 more, you're getting the shakes that are $130 for a month. You can try it. You don't like it, send it back.
Right.
And then you're getting the nutrition, like the containers, you're getting the shaker cup, you're getting all this stuff. And she's, oh, I guess that really does make sense. And I mean, I explained it to we did the math one day and it was like 43 cents a day.
It's super
Yeah.
cheap.
And so I was telling somebody that and she's like,
That's
oh,
with your shakes and stuff included.
yeah. So it really only makes sense.
Yeah. And some people might still choose just to do bod. And
Yeah.
I know that doesn't give you points, but it does give you income.
That's true.
So if you think of it in that aspect, so I try and steer that conversation so many times and in so many ways, and some people just don't want that. And you just have to be okay with that and just accept it, that that's still income. Do you know what I mean? And like, those are the people that I sign up under my husband to keep my husband active. So that's something to think about doing too, so that you don't have to be purchasing things under your spouse account. But yeah, so I know I told you guys about my sister. So she's a GNC awesome fanatic, and she's done keto and all the fun things. So
Right.
So, and literally the only person, I have my husband signed up and my mom, and that's it for my family. You guys, I have 4 sisters. like it. So don't think that like you can't do this if your family isn't supporting you. I always thought that like Kyle's sisters would jump on board, and they have like it's just that's just how it is, and you just have to accept it and move on with it and move on to other people that are ready for your help and that want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Which I know it's hard to swallow. Trust me. But when you kind of move on from it too, I don't know, it feels better too. So
I think the biggest part of me is like, I know I can be successful at this, but part of me feels like I need to prove it, like prove myself to my family. You know what I mean?
I think you need to let go of your family's expectations or thoughts or cares. Literally, somebody said this to me or not to me, but on a call in the very beginning of my business, because it was when I was super nervous to like post things, and like I still wouldn't post things in a sports bra, and I was so worried about what everybody thought. And I think it was Danielle actually, because it sounds like something she would say. They ain't putting that money in your pocket. So stop giving them the like right to tell you what's right and wrong, and stop giving them that weight in your life to like, you want to do this because you found success with it. Like you've had amazing, and you've been a part of this community, and you've seen that it works, and you should never feel bad about sharing that because you've had the success with it personally. It's not like you're trying to sell flipping, I don't know, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's not like you're just trying to sell something and then being like, peace out, I'm never going to speak to you again. Like you're literally giving people things that can make their lives better and make them healthier people. And when you get over the mindset of like, that makes me feel guilty, because it doesn't make me feel guilty at all. It like really brings me joy. And when you stop letting other people's opinions about what you're doing matter, it is a really liberating feeling. I used to care a lot like what the studio family would think of what I was doing. And as soon as I stopped caring about that, my business grew a lot. Because I posted more, and because I used to like, if I was away for like dance competitions, like I would focus just on that. And I'm like, no, why should my business have to take a standstill when it's part of me and it's part of what I do just because I'm away?
Right.
So maybe just something kind of to toss around, that like you might have unsupportive people, but like stop letting those opinions, like stop giving their opinions that much weight in your life, honestly.
Right.
Which is hard for sure. But like when you do that, I think you're going to find a lot more success in that aspect, because you shouldn't have to prove it to anyone but yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like your opinion of yourself matters more. Hi. I'm glad that everybody's in the room. The whole family. Minus Pete. I don't know where he's at. Probably sleeping. Oh.
And I mean, I feel like I share a lot personally on my pages, like even on Instagram. Like I've talked about the bankruptcy, I've talked about losing the house, like all that stuff, you know, and maybe I share too much, but I've gotten to the point where I don't care.
How many people are following your stories?
Not very many.
So what do you think you need to do?
I don't know.
Make a post. Because
post about that?
Post about some of those struggles, and like use that as like, I would use like, well, any of it, that this is the community that you lean into on the hard days. Does that make sense? Like you can use any part of your story, because your story is really actually amazing. And I think a lot of people would relate to it, but you think that not very many people are following your story. So then only that many people are seeing it every single day. And you wonder why there's no new people, right? Make a post about it, because your post is going to reach more.
True.
That's what I would do.
Because I'm like we're still struggling,
right?
You know, up until payday today, like for my husband, we had $1 in our account.
Right.
Like we haven't had food in our apartment for like 2 weeks, and it sucks to say, you know, and I don't want to get emotional about it, but it's just like, I wish people could see like the struggle, but I don't want them to see that because then they're like, well, if you're doing this business, how is it helping you? You know what I mean? But it's like my escape.
So you're worried about what other people are going to say before you even create anything. Lean into the community aspect of it, and that you've done personal development and that you've grown as a person. Like, you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to give people the option to like say those things. You can just be like, this is why I do it, and I do it for me, and I do it because I have this support, and I know that if I keep showing up every single day, that this is going to happen for me and my family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. It's going to disconnect us here, but I can reset up if you guys want to chat more, I can set up another link, or what do you guys think? Anybody?
I just got
I'm
an
game
email
for
that says
anything.
we have no school tomorrow, so
What?
I got an email that says we don't have school tomorrow, so I'm okay.
What?
So you want me to set up another link? Do you want me to set up a link? I'll set up another one and post it in the page.
Okay.
Sounds good. Alyssa, you have to go to school every day. You teach in Sioux Falls.
I know.
Find a small school.
I know.
That was a good reaction though, Alyssa.
Hey, is our school
Your
closed?
facial expression was like on point.
Hi, Kinley.
They're BFFs.
She's like right there. Like,
Oh, Colin. Oh, Colin, did she leave?
Tinley, Colin's on the couch. Your other BFF. There's Colin. See?
Take a guess. I'm going with fun.
Guess what?
What?
My dad's here.
My dad's here.
Oh, that's funny.
That's hilarious. Okay, I'm going to close this one, you guys, and I'll open up another one, okay?
sounds good.
Okay.